Hi, my name is Robert Fuller, and I'd like to welcome you to the first of my 4 blogs on the subject of building a successful channel engagement model for the cloud. By way of a brief introduction, I've spent the last 20 years living in the US building sales and marketing teams in high technology companies, with both domestic and global responsibilities. Most recently, I spent over 3 years building the most comprehensive and successful partner program in the hosting industry. The 4 blogs I'm delivering in conjunction with Channel Enablers will include a high-level overview on channel engagement involving managed hosting and cloud services, then digging deeper into cloud services options and how they are rapidly evolving. These new cloud offerings are influencing how end users are evaluating and deciding on their IT needs. This impacts who and how your channel partner should be engaging their customers and what those customers' expectations will be. I've heard several vendors suggest that the technological shift to cloud may be a way to bypass the channel and deal directly with the customer, or potentially enable new channels to develop to provide different distribution options. There are examples of both these situations taking place, but in most cases, the channel as we know it still is the most efficient network to enable product, services, and advice to flow in a timely and cost-effective way to the end customer. The channel partner also has the relationships to enable them to re-establish themselves as a trusted advisor to the customer. You may have noticed I said re-establish. That's because with so many cloud services to consider, the channel partner must stay abreast of all these options and continue to reinforce their value to multiple decision makers within their customer's business. Because of the limited time we have and the wide variations in business use cases, partner types, and the services they consume, I'll be speaking fairly generally about these topics. My goal is to provide you with a high-level overview that delivers a framework for you to work with. I'm also working with Channel Enablers on a possible 5th blog to answer some of your more specific questions. So please email me at robert@thatchannelguy.com with any questions you may have. Okay, that's the introduction. Now let's get started. This next slide outlines a simplistic way of how I see the channel interfacing with managed hosting and cloud service providers. I call it the channel engagement model. For the purpose of these blogs, I'm calling those businesses that provide managed hosting and/or cloud services hosted service providers. This includes companies like Amazon, Rackspace, and Cadero in the US, and HostAway, FastHost, and Peer1 in the UK. I also include vendors in this box because their technology is often bundled with infrastructure services as part of the solution the customer and/or partner consume. These solutions may be sold by the hosted service provider or the vendor. I'll come back to this group in my 4th blog. The customer is the most important piece of this engagement model. Their adoption of hosted and cloud services varies wildly, and in order for your partner to be successful, they must really understand how the customer's decision processes are changing and also where they're being made. I'll be doing a deeper dive on the customer in my 2nd blog. As channel professionals, our world revolves around the channel partner. How we enable them to embrace the evolving hosting and cloud world, understand the changing needs of their customers, and help them maintain their trusted advisor status will define their success. I'll focus on channel partners in my 3rd blog. So for the remainder of this blog, let's briefly dig into the evolution of managed hosting and cloud services, why the pace of change is speeding up, and why our partners need to fully embrace them now. Managed hosting and cloud services are the inflection points where customers are able to shift the burden of infrastructure, platform, and application management to a hosted service provider or vendor. And that burden reduces dramatically depending on whether the customer leverages a dedicated or cloud infrastructure or cloud platform solution, i.e. infrastructure as a service versus a platform as a service or software as a service solution. I really believe we, as the channel sales and marketing community, must educate our partners to help them understand the cloud services environment and then enhance their capabilities to embrace this rapid change. Those partners that don't will become the future dinosaurs of the industry. So let's talk about hosted service providers. First, there's dedicated hosting. This includes resources like servers, storage, networking, databases, and virtualized environments. By dedicated, we mean they are single tenant, therefore set aside for the sole use of a specific customer. Secondly, you have true cloud services, which can also comprise of compute storage, networking, and databases. The difference is that all these services are offered in a self-serve, on-demand environment and usually delivered through the internet. Dedicated hosting services are still in strong demand. Millions and millions of businesses and their partners are still very happy using these services and continue to migrate their applications to off-premise dedicated hosting solutions. Most hosted service providers continue to enhance this part of their business, which is growing annually at about 20%. It's what many customers use now and the sweet spot that most channel partners understand and have experience with. What's changing rapidly is the self-service on-demand cloud. From proprietary and open-sourced infrastructure options to the tools and solutions available to the customer. Overall, cloud is becoming much more reliable and secure, and the tools used to create, develop, deploy, and manage the infrastructure and applications are becoming much more sophisticated and user-friendly. Cloud is no longer just an environment to develop and test applications and run non-core business apps. Cloud is now being used for mission-critical applications like web content, collaboration and delivery, e-commerce, ERP, big data and analytics, and most major office applications. The growth of cloud is also creating a new type of channel partner, which is of the cloud. These new channel partners are becoming your traditional channel partners' competition. They are motivated by cloud-based software development and professional services, and they are also seeing their businesses rapidly grow. Fortunately, the market is huge, but now is the time for all channel partners to step into the fray. Finally, I want to use some data I recently pulled from the internet to put the market size into perspective. It may be a little dated, but it depicts the cloud opportunity in a great way. The growth of cloud is staggering, from $46 billion in 2008 to potentially $150 billion in 2013, yet when you put this into perspective, it's still only forecasted to represent a fraction of the total IT spend in 2011, just 2.3%. So once again, the opportunity is there, and now is the time to jump to action. Over the last 7 to 8 minutes, I've outlined at a high level how the cloud has evolved as now a much more user-friendly, secure and stable environment, and how as channel sales and marketing professionals, we need to take a leadership role in helping our partners bridge this change or become part of history. Also, the channel engagement model for the cloud is not just about the channel partner, but working with partners and hosted service providers to help our channel partners deliver the appropriate services, solutions and advice to their customers in either the IT department or business unit. In the next blog, we'll do a deep dive into really understanding how the customer is evaluating hosted services and how we need to align the channel partners and vendors to help support this new model. Thanks very much for listening, and especially thanks to Channel Enablers for giving me the opportunity to produce this blog. And finally, if you have any questions, please email me at robert@thatchannelguy.com.